All right, so it's 12:13, so we'll aim for at least 30 minutes.
Okay.
All right, how should we intro this?
I don't know. We should probably introduce ourselves.
All right.
We should talk to the camera.
Okay, here we are. Ignore the phones that we're holding up to our faces. That's because we don't have microphones. So, welcome to the first podcast we're recording. I'm John.
I'm Marcus.
Is Marcus, yeah. Sorry. No, go ahead.
I'm Marcus.
Okay.
Thanks.
No, I shouldn't introduce you. You should get to, yeah.
Just didn't want to cut you off.
Sweet. Do you want to introduce me to even it out?
This is John.
And this is Marcus.
Perfect.
And we're recording a podcast. There's going to be mics in our faces the whole time, so you'll have to get, or phones. You'll have to get used to these being here.
Yeah.
But we're just recording a podcast. We've wanted to do it for a while, and we figured out, well, we keep saying, oh, we should record a podcast. We should come up with like an amazing idea for like a concept or a title or like something that we're really smart about, because that's what people will want to listen to. But then we kept procrastinating and never did it. So eventually this week we were like, we should just record one on Saturday, because if we don't ever just do it, we'll probably never do it.
Yeah.
So we
rip the Band-Aid off.
Exactly.
Do it.
And we don't have an amazing concept or name.
Which is fine. There's so many podcasts now.
There's too many podcasts now.
There's simply too many.
Yeah.
Got a lot of friends telling me that they're starting a podcast.
Yeah.
So, what's one more?
Yeah. What's one more? Yeah, I actually hate when people start podcasts, but you know what they say about problems? Once it's like bad enough, you can just don't give a shit.
Times 10, you can't
just join in.
friends. Yeah.
If it gets like,
if you can't beat them, start a podcast.
There are things that are bad, like, you know, you see people littering or something, and what they say, I think Plato or Socrates said this, is like, you don't participate until it's like sufficiently bad, but then you can just join in. Yeah.
I don't think I've read that version of history.
Yeah, my bad. Okay, sweet. So we're here in our it's not our apartment. It's like our workspace apartment in Brooklyn. Got a decent view, but we won't move the camera.
That's mine. You can just imagine a super sick desk.
Yeah.
And then this part of the desk that you can see is John's very...
I don't think I can see the desk.
Average desk.
I can't check the shot now.
Maybe the chair.
Yeah,
just imagine a super sick desk, really average desk.
Imagine everything's beautifully decorated. Like amazing place. There's not a bunch of boxes on the floor. There's not a broken surfboard in the corner.
Yeah. It's good though.
So let's kick off with the move. We just moved to New York.
Yep.
And we just lived in Airbnbs for the past 4.5 months.
That's been a schlep.
So we were in LA, and then we were in SF for 3 months, and then we moved here. And now we're finally out of Airbnbs.
And like right in between that SF and LA part, we just did a little Airbnb-ing just because we were like looking for a place to rent, and it just kept moving back. So,
So I wanted to ask what your thoughts are on LA versus SF versus New York, especially part of the or part of the Airbnb experience. Like,
okay.
Which city do you prefer?
It's so, through the lens of an Airbnb, it's so hard to say.
Yeah.
It's because each one, I don't know, at some point during Airbnb, like, people who were renting out their places, like, turned into, like, businesses, and now they, like, theme them. So I've been, like, one or two of the ones that we were in were themed, and it was just, like, I was in Brooklyn, and then I was in, like, a wood shop when I went home to go to bed, and it was, like, weird lighting.
I couldn't tell if that was a theme, by the way.
If that's not a theme, that person's living a very interesting life.
Yeah, we stayed in an Airbnb where like it smelled like your grandma's house, like everyone's grandma's house.
Yeah, distinctly.
And like the lampshades were made of like old pages of books torn out from like old copies of Alice in Wonderland. Like
the kitchen was like 2 feet wide and 30 feet deep.
Which one?
The kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen. Yeah, it was just.
You couldn't open a door with like all the way. It would just hit the other wall.
It's super uncomfortable.
My opinion on the 3 cities. Well, those are the only 3 cities I would live in, I think.
Really?
Yeah, they're my 3 favorite American cities.
No DC?
DC's okay. Just not yet. Okay. Not yet. I think inevitably.
DC is like family status.
Yeah, inevitably, I think I will live in DC at some point. It's because my parents are in Maryland, and I just doxed myself.
We'll cut that out.
Just censor that.
Yeah. Okay. So, we brought this up earlier and then we didn't talk about it. So, my perception of LA changed so much living there. So the first time I ever had been to LA was when I interviewed at Snapchat. And they give you like a hotel for one night, but my friend Sam from SpaceX
Hilarious.
lives there. Yeah, hilarious. He lived there, so I got to stay with him for an extra night. So I stayed like through a weekend. And when I first got there and until after the interview, I was like just studying and working. But then there was like a moment I had where I couldn't believe LA was real. So Sam took me out to like Venice Beach, which my perception totally changed. But like the first time I was there, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
We went out to the beach in like bathing suits, took off all our clothes, like shoes, whatever, put them down and like went into the water. And I remember, first of all, the water is way bluer on the West Coast
way more
than
blue.
the East Coast.
Way colder.
Yeah, way colder.
Way more cold.
Way colder, and that was fine because you got adjusted to it. But the waves were huge. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was actually like a super clear day in LA. And I was looking like to the left, I could see, what is it, Catalina?
It's like Malibu and then
not to the west, to the south.
The south, I forget what that's called. Yeah, it like hooks out. I forget the name of that area.
Okay, I could see like beaches all to my left. I looked to my right, so north, up towards Malibu. And I could see like mountains, rolling hills.
Santa Monica.
There was like planes flying overhead.
Yeah.
It was like completely beautiful. Weather was amazing. It was like, this is insane. Like I have to move here. And I did. Like I got a job offer, moved out there. But then my entire time in LA, the perception like slowly went downhill.
Yeah.
But I think
why is that?
I think it's unique to my experience because I moved there, grew up on the East Coast, went to college on the East Coast, moved to the West Coast. So very few people I knew to start. And then I didn't have a car.
Yeah,
and so
those are like the two nails in the coffin for LA.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think when I got there, I was like really ambitious to like go do social stuff and like make friends. And I like really tried for like a month or two. Like I'm going to get friends. But then like after 2 months, you're just like, you just gave up.
Dude,
I was like, this is too hard.
That's the reality after college. You go from like the best environment ever for making friends. And then you have that like friend-making confidence, and then you go into the real world, and no one wants to be your friend. Nobody wants to be anyone's friend. You already have friends. You're just an adult.
That's a harsh way of putting it.
Like nobody wants to be anyone's.
I like to tell myself that people did want to be my friend. They just couldn't find me.
It's not you in particular. It's just that there's so much inertia in like the way you already are at that age, and like the friends you already have. If you're like at a bar or something, and you're with all your friends, and some person just shows up and is like, hey, let's be friends.
Yeah, it's
just 0% chance.
It's pretty hard to get that. And like I did have a few people, but all the people, for me, this was pretty close after leaving college. So most of the people I knew from school lived, like Venice area is really expensive. Mm-hmm. It made sense for me because that's where I worked. So I saved money on like commuting and stuff.
Yeah. Be even worse if you work at Snapchat and don't live.
Yeah,
like
it would be more expensive.
Traffic is miserable.
Yeah, but most of my friends lived in like Echo Park, Silver Lake, or they were in like entertainment. They lived in like West Hollywood or Hollywood, and so I had a few friends that I wanted to like meet up with and hang out with, and I would text them, and this is just like your classic LA, but I wasn't familiar with like this is like a stereotype. So this feels like original commentary to me.
Yeah,
you just like make plans with somebody.
You have
a week in advance. Yeah. You have the plan, and then like the day of, it's just like, hey man, feeling super tired. Don't really want to drive out to the west side.
Wind started blowing a little north, so not gonna make it out tonight.
Yeah, and then it just get delayed by like, I don't know. It was that same like first 2 month period. Like, I got there were like 4 people I was gonna hang out in the first 2 months, and then it got delayed by. They kept getting canceled, and it was like, okay, I no longer just moved here and we're meeting up. Now it's like just this thing that's been kicked down the road.
Yeah. All that's a little bit slower. I actually think the same thing happens everywhere. It's just people's like tolerance for it and like what a long distance is to people. Because like when you're in New York, it can be like pulling teeth to get people to come to Brooklyn. It's like one stop away on the L train.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But for some people, like coming from like Upper West Side to like where we are in Brooklyn is like, they're never gonna do it. And then you like take that scale and put it over top of LA and it's just like stretched out. Like if you're in Venice, like you're never gonna, like
Yeah.
getting the whole way to North Hollywood is like just not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's true. And then there's SF. We didn't really experience SF
No.
that much, though.
I would like to do that again because we were in the Mission, albeit we were just like working very hard. So I think anywhere we would have went, it would have been the same experience. We were just in a room.
Yeah.
But then there's like, whenever we were going out for like coffee and whatnot, it was just like a pretty harsh atmosphere.
Yeah, we had a kind of a bad place. Everyone told us like the Mission is like the cool spot to be, but then we like nobody like distinguished. But also we were in like the worst part. Like the Mission is pretty big, and we were like the very, very, very South Mission, which is not what people were referring to when they told us.
They definitely should have clarified.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
I had the same experience, by the way. The first time I went to California, I was 16 or 17. I was my high school senior. I'd never known. I was aware of California growing up on the East Coast, but I'd never been, and like didn't get any of the pop culture references. I never like put it together because I'd never been there. My dad finally takes me to San Francisco, and I'm like, holy crap! Like it's like perfect out here. And then like so that was the first time I went to California, and then like a little bit older, like after college, I went to LA. The first time you like step foot in Venice Beach and like the skate park, just everything starts to make sense.
Yeah.
Like skateboarding makes sense. Every music video you ever saw growing up makes sense. Like surfing makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just like California, like
You just backfill
culture.
and like calibrate like all these references in your mind.
The OC makes sense immediately.
So this is when I first showed up in LA the very first time. I told you the first time was for that Snapchat interview. Everything I recognized everything, but not from music videos and stuff like you said, but from GTA. I was like, oh yeah, I ran over somebody on that street. I stole a helicopter on that building.
I hit 5 stars there.
No, that's crazy.
It's so funny.
And then I went when I got there, it prompted me to pull out that game again and go play it.
And just kill a bunch of people.
Because I was like, well, no. It was just like, I don't have a car. I don't need a. I mean, I didn't seriously do this. I played it for fun, but I was kind of like, oh, I don't have a car. I can't go explore in my car, but I can get more familiar with the city by just driving around in GTA and calibrating
Dude,
what are the different areas I can go.
That's an actual thing now. I know
that could be a helpful tool.
If a world is realistic enough and it's based on a real city, you can recognize things when you go there.
Yeah, at least the context, because they had a New York one too. It was the Liberty City one, right? So it's this idea would be, it's a game but a tool for people who move to new cities or who are visiting on vacation or something. And it's you go in the game and you explore and decide what you want to do, and then you go do this.
Make plans with your new friend, and then right before they break it on you,
it's
the whole game is you just trying to make plans with new friends, and you figure out the city, but you never actually meet up with anybody.
Had a great trip to New York. That reminds me of the Second Life thing.
I never played that.
I never played that either.
I only know that from The Office, actually. There's a whole
Same.
episode about Second Life.
I only remember Dwight.
Yeah.
He was a paper salesman. No, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
I forgot about that. He was a paper salesman in the game. But he can fly, right?
The only difference is he could fly. So he
looked exactly the same as himself playing it, closing
he made a Second Life account, and his entire thing was he was the exact same person, exact same job. He would get on the game and go to work at Dunder Mifflin and sell paper, but the only difference is he could fly.
Oh my god!
But that's what I'm saying is the idea would be you get to it's a way to test your first impression of a city. So you get there and they give you this VR world, and you go in. I mean, maybe it's not VR. Maybe it's just Grand Theft Auto. VR kind of sucks, but you go try out the world. You go hang out with people in different neighborhoods in the game or whatever.
It would have to be VR, I think.
Okay.
Like you need to sit in traffic for an hour somewhere, or like
Yeah.
deal with the subway in LA and or in New York and like know what it felt like.
Yeah. I wonder if people will ever do that.
What do you mean?
Well,
Like a game like that?
my idea was like you would try all these different things in the new city, but it'd be in the game, and then you'd like finish that. You do it for like a month or something, and then you'd like go try like the stuff you actually liked in real life.
I don't see why
But it'd be
not.
like real other people.
That to me is like the perfect application of VR. You
Yeah.
should tell somebody that.
But I
idea.
wonder, like, I think like the problem with the VR stuff and like video games in general is it has to stay entertaining. Like there can't be like, even like Fortnite right now is like super mainstream, right? And there's like, I haven't even played it, but there's like watching the streams, there's like a very brief period before the game starts where you're like on the ship, and then everyone jumps out and like drops down. Imagine if that ship phase was like an hour. Like the problem with video games or VR is like if you had to sit in traffic for an hour, you wouldn't actually like experience it. You'd probably just like take off the headset, put it down.
I guess
go freaking.
If the whole point of it was to like feel the city though, and it was like more of like an application than like a game, I think it would make sense.
I just don't think people are patient enough for it.
Sure.
Like the only reason
That'd be great.
the only reason people put up with that in real life is because they have to. Like they have to go to a physical space. So in VR, the concept of like traffic in VR doesn't make sense. Like, you should just teleport.
For sure.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna like try out a new city, like you definitely like don't want to like uproot your life, go there, and then figure out you don't like traffic. Like you should just give it a whirl in VR.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I had a big talk about this with Joe the other day. Or not the other day, last night we were talking about VR, whether or not it'll actually like happen and whether or not that's good.
What did you conclude? I was super hopeful on VR, but it seems like it's petering.
So we kind of had different takes. Like I think it's yeah, I agree. It's like VR is very hyped up and then just still like nothing has gotten popular. It's like no good content on it. Mm-hmm. But I'm still I'm pessimistic on like when that's going to happen. Like, is it going to happen now? But I do think that if VR were ubiquitous and there were good games for it, it would be amazing.
I agree. Like what's the best game for VR right now? All it takes is one.
I don't even know any. I know like a few games.
If there's one sick video game, everybody's gonna go buy the consoles, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Because people will finish. The problem with VR is there's like a huge upfront investment. Like, so you need a gaming PC.
That's the crazy part.
If you don't have one, which I don't, you need like, I mean, I know like the gamer people will, you can get cheaper ones, but I would only get like a really nice one.
Sure,
I would only spend like $2,000 on the gaming PC because you don't want it to get irrelevant later.
It's actually important for VR too, for like when you're like looking around. If there's any lag, you like get sick and stuff.
Yeah. So you need that plus the game. Mm-hmm. But even if there's an amazing game, games don't stay popular usually for more than like a year, usually even 6 months. Mm-hmm. So after a year, the game is gone, but you still have to use this expensive computer sitting around.
Yeah.
So you're relying on another good game coming out.
That's
the problem for me.
I agree. It's such a huge investment.
The first time I tried on an HTC Vive, I didn't stop thinking about it for like 2 days. It like affected me.
Was it a game?
It was a game. I played a Star Wars game where you put on the headset, you're standing, it's a very simple game. You're standing on a helicopter pad and you have like a laser pistol in one hand and you have a shield on your back. So with your other hand, you can either have a pistol or if you go like this with the controller, you'll pull the shield off and you can block.
Nice.
So you're standing there on the helicopter pad and from 360 degrees, these drones like fly up and start flying around you like in a circle and they're all shooting laser beams at you. And so you have to shoot them down and you can block the beams. But the craziest part that changed like everything, and this is the difference between like the Vive and the Oculus at the time, is the Vive knows where you are in space. So you put like 2 sensors in the room. You put like a sensor in that corner.
This thing's like up on the poles, right?
Yeah. So it knows where you are. Like
that's pretty crazy.
It sets up like a box and it knows where you are. So the crazy thing was the lasers, and they did this on purpose so that you could like use the Vive. The lasers moved kind of slow, not like slow motion, but they like slow enough that you could dodge. Uh-huh. So the thing could like shoot a beam at you, and if you saw the beam coming, you could like lean out of the way and watch the laser like go by.
That's crazy.
And so like you know it's not real. I'm not like an idiot. I wasn't like, this is real, but you kind of like buy into it. Like you accept it as real. And when I took it off, like it felt like I'd been to like a real space. Like if I've been to like a museum, I think about that museum. I couldn't stop thinking about it for like 2 days.
It's amazing. There's like a couple axes you don't get with the controller that you get with like, I mean, you get like every axis with VR, but like the ability to like lean and turn your head, like you just can't do that with the controller.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'm like really skeptical on, and I felt this way when the Wii came out, so I feel like there's like the majority of gamers don't want to be that active when they're playing. Like I see VR being like really cool for like sitting down and like being able to look around, but like a lot of people won't want to do that whole standing up thing. They just want to sit down and like rip.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever change. I think that's the thing is like it'd have to be like for super niche. There might be some set of use cases where it's worth getting up and doing stuff, but it's got to be way fewer than use cases where I'm fine sitting on my couch.
Yeah.
Like people, like convenience is a very powerful factor.
For sure.
Like the fact that I can play every game right now without moving, with only moving my thumbs is like...
Same interface. It's just the controller.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed in 10 years.
Yeah.
There are some sweet applications of it. Do you see what Facebook's doing with like remote teleconferences with their VR?
Yeah.
They do like it used to be this tacky like Wiimoji looking thing or Me or whatever, and just recently they like scan your head and like you put on an Oculus, somewhere else in the world puts it on an Oculus, and you're talking into this portrait like black backdrop of like a head with a neck that like fades away into the backdrop. And when you're like turning your...
I don't buy it, man.
Dude, it looked... I don't know if it was real. They were demoing it. Like, could have been a video, but it looked so sick.
So I actually think the cartoon Bitmoji thing is better.
Do you?
Because I think when things are really close to looking... Yeah. Like, we really know what a human face should look like.
Yeah.
When something's like a little bit off...
Yeah, the whole uncanny
like
valley
thing. Sky.
Yeah.
No, but this is something's like, a little bit off, it's like very upsetting.
Yeah.
So like if it's a Bitmoji, you're just like, oh, this is a cartoon. But I feel like unless they really nail the face scan, if it's like I can tell it's Marcus, but like the proportions are a little bit wrong, it's just like
it looked good.
It's distracting.
It looked pretty good. Now this is like Pixar's thesis though of like why the Toy Story characters and like humans in Toy Story look the way they do versus like Polar Express or whatever. That's like the creepiest movie of all time.
Polar Express?
Because they tried to make them look like people and it's just like
you think they look creepy?
Yeah, they're off.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. Okay, wait, this reminds me, I had on here to talk about, and talking about the VR, your spectacles idea. Your IRL Snapchat spectacles dating app.
Nice.
You gotta explain it.
First of all, when the spectacles came out, I was super stoked. I like didn't work at Snapchat yet. I ran to the Venice or the Santa Monica Pier to wait in line to get them. I was like,
Did you get them?
I got them, yeah.
In that first line?
There was a first line in Venice that we missed because we were like on that website like trying to find where they were dropping it, and they were like putting it just around the west side of LA, which is super convenient. Yeah. And so when they put it at Santa Monica, like me and Sam like took off, went there, got it.
Did you still live in Santa Monica at the time?
I lived in Venice, so we took an Uber.
Wait, in the Venice apartment?
Yep.
Snap?
Yeah. So we took.
So you still live there?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we took a Uber from there, waited in line, got them, and like I used them like crazy. Like I thought it was like the coolest format, and then it just like kind of petered out. So I was pretty bummed about that.
Yeah, I bought into that too. Okay, we'll get to your idea in a second.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about this, I really bought into it too. Because like conceptually it is really cool. Like the idea of like I buy into that whole philosophy, which is why like Snapchat's so cool. Of like, okay, we're always on our phones. It's obvious people want to record things. So instead of trying to tell people like, don't take out your phone, don't take a picture, like it's like, okay, no, record something, but here's a device that lets you like not interrupt what you're doing.
Yeah, amazing.
I don't have to like hold up my phone in between me and the other person.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is awesome. I like the philosophy of this. Like I can do both. I can be in the moment. I can record. And I recorded all the time too. And I specifically like went on a vacation like shortly after they came out. So I think I went home for Christmas or something. Okay. So all my high school friends were like back together hanging out. And I recorded a bunch of stuff on the spectacles. And one really powerful thing outside of the recording mechanism is the 360, like the footage when you watch it back, like later, not right after you record. Like if you go back to Spectacles footage, even now in like your memories on Snapchat,
Yep. 6
months to a year later, it really like brings back the memory. Like the memory floods back in, like makes you feel like you were there.
That's all. Yeah.
Because the first person perspective plus like that
the fisheye, like circular video.
I feel like it's triggering something in my brain that like makes me relive the moment, and not in like a marketing speak. Like it really does feel like it makes me remember.
You're like kind of in your body. It's such a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought the reason for me, eventually, like I realized it's kind of a pain in the ass to carry these things around, and like the case is kind of bulky.
They're just thick frames.
It was never worth it, and like if I was also excited to like post them on my story and like, or like save them and post them on Instagram or something like that. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I kind of like I fell off the bandwagon. I was like, this is not worth it, but I still kept doing it once I realized this, purely with the idea that it would be worth it later. So the idea of capturing memories. So I was like, I'm not going to post this on Snapchat. I'm not going to post it on Instagram. It's also going to be a pain in the ass to record, but I'm on vacation with my family. These memories are going to be really valuable later, and I know how powerful it is on Spectacles. So that became my use case for it, of like recording just the important stuff.
Nice.
It wasn't even about like being in the moment. It was just like this kind of footage is just better for this use case.
It's an amazing format. Like you're so right. Like if I ever go back through my memories, I like forget that I had Spectacles, and then I tap into those albums. I'm like, holy crap, this is so cool. Yeah. This is so cool.
Yeah. So all right. So there's the V2 now.
V2 is. I don't know.
Okay. Well, actually, it's not related to V2 really, but you had the idea. Really.
Yeah. So V2 is what kind of got Spectacles back in my mind. I was thinking about it again.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so the idea is like walking around anywhere really, but you see it more often in New York because there's so many people.
Yeah.
Like you'll see somebody like look over their, you'll walk past somebody and the person will look over their shoulder if they thought it was like a good looking boy or girl, and then, or a good looking person, whatever. And then the other person, if they were also interested, will look over their shoulder. So I was like, that to me is like the double opt-in. That's like what Tinder tried to go, the double blind opt-in, but it's like the double very not blind opt-in.
Yeah.
Where you both are interested in each other. So like I thought if you have Spectacles, you turn around and look, the other person turns around and look, just give each other your snap code. Give each other your phone number or something.
I love it.
Send a snap to each other and like start a conversation.
Yeah. So the idea is like like in the code, it's like it knows there's two pairs. So Snapchat, like it already has the map, it knows where you are. It knows even there's way fewer Spectacles users than Snapchat users.
For sure, yeah.
So you just like keep the location tracking on the Spectacles. And you say, hey, if two people are within like 50 feet of each other and you see that they both at the same time look back and like make that eye contact to like both check each other out, then they like get this like magic, like you've got a match.
Yeah, exactly. It's a match.
Like
it should just like take a picture so you don't forget and then start a conversation. Like put you in Snapchat
this is
messages.
the person you checked out. Still think they're hot?
Oh, God. That would be... I wonder if they implemented that, if they would sell more Spectacles.
Dude, even as like an April Fool's marketing for Spectacles, I bet you people would buy Spectacles. Like, so like the dating apps are terrible. I mean, like, so I re-downloaded like Tinder, Bumble.
What are the popular ones now? I know of Tinder and Bumble.
So Tinder, I don't know. There's also kind of like the douchey, like the League.
I've heard of
which
that.
Which is like, you have to like get in.
Sure.
But it's like, that's like...
Your whole family had to go to Harvard or something.
Cool. It's not cool. Yeah, you need an alumni interview to get in. No, but the problem is it's bad. Like, pictures are good. Like, Tinder is really cool, I guess. Because it, like, I guess enabled a bunch of... Like, I have friends now who just got engaged and they met on Tinder.
That's crazy.
They're in LA. They both work in entertainment. They both graduated from Harvard, but they didn't know each other at Harvard. They graduated different years.
Nice.
Met on Tinder, dated for 2 years, got married.
That's crazy.
So that's amazing.
That's
That's
crazy.
like why you download Tinder.
Totally.
For me, it's like, oh man, what if like, you know, you can actually have.
So it happens. Before I worked at Snapchat, I interviewed at Tinder, and one of the things they said is they like whenever like a couple like gets married or has a kid, they like send them like T-shirts or like a onesie for the kid that has like the Tinder thing,
Nice.
and they're like very in touch with people, or people on Tinder that have gotten married or had successful relationships are very in touch with Tinder to let them know that, which is super cool.
But they're just bad. Like, I mean, like, first of all, you can't really tell, even from pictures, you can't tell what someone looks like. The bios, there's no good bio. Like, if you try to be funny, usually you're trying too hard or it doesn't land. If you don't put a bio, you're boring. If you try to do something interesting, you're trying to be cool. I don't know, maybe I'm just pessimistic on it, but it sucks. But then I think in person, there's like all, you know, I don't know. I'm much more interested in like meeting people in person.
Sure, that's how humans
like
are.
Snapchat's like, for them it would be like a very different kind of product for them. But I feel like their philosophy has been like in the moment, it's
Totally.
in person, it's not this digital like dystopian Facebook, Instagram thing. It's like this spontaneous. I think it would be, if they were going to make a dating product, that would be the genius one.
They should at least like test it on campus, because the
On
most
campus?
the highest like per capita like spectacles users is Venice Beach, California for sure. There's so many people just walking
Oh,
around
you
with
mean
them
on their campus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be.
I wonder how hard the tech would be.
You could just do like IR if the IR sensors like get close. I don't know, do it.
Yeah.
Start the convo.
Fair enough. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I was thinking. I saw the. So we've been using Discord a lot, and Discord has this really cool mascot, which is the Wumpus. I don't know. They just have like a cartoon character throughout their UI.
Great.
And then I was asking someone about like mascots for companies and like if they could like draw a cool one for like a product or something, and they showed me that I don't know if this is right or not, but there's like Japanese town mascots. So every town has its own little mascot, and it's usually like an anime, like, and it's not just like the big cities in Japan. Like every single town in Japan, from what I could tell Googling, has a mascot, even if it's like a small town.
Interesting.
And it's like an anime character that like represents some core piece of their town. So if you're like a town where there's like an old castle, your anime character will have like the castle as like his head or
Nice.
something.
So is it like a state bird but like fun? Similar?
Yeah, it's like a state bird, but it's made up.
Yeah.
Like someone from the town like designed a character for their town. Some of them are just random. Some of them are like just a bird, or just like a dog or something.
It's a cool idea.
But some of them are like these weird things. And then I saw the tweet that was like, if American cities had mascots, and it had like LA was like a car with smog was like the character, and like New York was like a middle finger. Like I was thinking
Chicago's just nice.
they thought it was really cool, but I think it just wouldn't work in America.
Yeah. I guess I'd have to see it in play in Japan. I remember I saw some of the icons on your screen and they just looked like super fun characters. Like, how are they using them? Are there like ads running and then this guy like runs across the screen or something?
No, they have an actual mascot. Like there's a guy or girl in person in the town wearing the costume.
Oh.
Like you go to a baseball game.
He like looks at you and you're like, no. And he looks at you and he does the shake and comes over to like give you the hug, give you a little noogie or something.
They actually have it. So like, first of all, when you see like, they'll have like a map of the town and like the little mascot will be on it. Like, hey, welcome to whatever.
That's fun. That's cool.
But also they have just like at a baseball game, you have like the big fuzzy costume. In the town, there's a person wearing the costume.
Dude, that is funny.
That's dedication.
That's really cool.
To the branding. All right. But yeah, Discord is like, so I have 4 apps on my, actually, what do you have on your dock? On your phone? I feel like nobody changes that from the default.
I have Safari, Telegram, reminders, and notes, and it's been that way for like.
So you put Safari,
year.
Telegram, reminders, and notes. Okay, yours is like, so you actually changed all of the things.
Yeah.
Because I think it comes default with like phone, messages, email.
I don't know what the right one is.
Something else.
Yeah.
I have iMessage, Discord, Gmail, and then I have a folder in my dock.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
And it's called Music, and I just have like Spotify, SoundCloud,
Nice.
all the podcasts.
Nice.
Because it's the stuff I most frequently use. But now, I used to have Snapchat on the dock because when you want to take a picture of something, like it has to be there. Like you have to be able to like see the thing, get out your camera and record it.
Yep.
But now Discord's there all the time, and most people don't know what it is. So I wanted to like, go through it.
Spread the good word. I love Discord. It's my new favorite app.
Yeah. So Discord. Well, does everybody know what Slack is?
I don't even
Probably.
know. Probably. Maybe, but I said just assume not.
Okay. So we'll do Slack and then Discord. Slack is pretty much a chat room app for teams that work together. And you make a team, you invite, it's mostly used in work spaces. So like you would invite all your coworkers, and then anyone can make a room. So you might have, if you were like a design company, you might have a chat room for like design mocks. You might have one for like new projects. You might have one for lunch, like where should we go to lunch? You might have whatever. So when you want to have relevant discussions with your team in real time, instead of going to email where it takes forever, you go into Slack, you just go to the relevant channel and say, in the lunch channel, where do we want to go to lunch? And people will be like, let's go to, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
So Discord, when it first came out, Discord is pretty much the exact same product. But they made it, what'd you say?
Very, very close.
Yeah.
It's oddly similar.
There's a few tweaks, but it's the same thing. So when it came out, we talked about this, like we both thought it was pointless. But they, instead of making it for work teams, they made it for gamers. But now that's spread to all kinds of communities. And it's this really cool app where you can go into any community, or like a server is what they call it, but really they're communities. And you can just like join a real-time chat with all these strangers on the internet. And so we've been using it to get feedback on our product. So we have a server with like almost 400 people in it now. And it's so cool.
It's great.
Like it's the only place online right now where I think like true strangers are like having conversations with each other.
Yep.
I don't know if the only place, like Reddit kinda, and like, but okay, so for example, like when do people come to the same place online?
Gaming.
So YouTube maybe.
Yeah.
But the YouTube comments suck.
Yeah, there's no community there.
By the way, make sure you're still in frame.
What?
I don't know. So YouTube comments suck, and there's not dialogue. And then Reddit comments are good.
They're
like,
okay.
I browsed. Well, actually, I don't really use Reddit that much anymore.
Yeah.
And they also did a redesign, which is like.
It's also okay.
People do not like the redesign.
Really?
Yeah.
Reddit is just pretty okay.
Well, the redesign, it's prettier, but it's not necessarily a better UX. Like it's harder to use. Part of it is just switching to a new thing.
Yeah.
But people made, the main criticism right now is, I could look at a page of Reddit, which was 25 posts. They were all on the page. And I could quickly skim all the titles and click the ones I wanted to look at.
You can't do that now?
So now the default view is like an Instagram-like view where each post is expanded.
Interesting.
So to scroll through 25 posts, you have to scroll down really far.
Interesting.
And they put ads in between.
Owned.
So you get like full banner ad, like full image. And it looks like a post.
Dang.
It's super scammy.
Dang. What do they call it? Native content or whatever?
Yeah,
Native
yeah.
ads?
Actually, this reminds me of, I don't know. I hate this whole, it's unarguably a better ad because it looks like real content and people will click it. But it also is a little bit, I don't know what the line is between like a good ad and a predatory ad where it's like tricking you.
Sure.
So I listened to this podcast, I forget what it was, I think it was Radiolab, where they talk about false advertising, just like bad advertising scams. And there were two. One was about this yellow taxi company in New York. They have like yellowtaxi.com or something. It's not that, but it's something. And it says it's if you lose an item in a taxi, you go to this site and it says you can pay like $75 to list the item you lost. And it says like yellowcab.com. It's like, looks like an official site where like, oh, we'll tell our taxis, we'll find your item. But all it is a private database where people can go look for the items that were lost and report if they found one.
That seems like that
So-
could be misused like crazy.
So the whole podcast was like people being like, yeah, I left my $3,000 camera in a yellow taxi and I lost it. So I quickly Googled like lost item taxi and this site comes up first. And it said like pay $75, like we can find your item, 100% guaranteed, but like doesn't say what it guarantees. So in like their panic state, people will go enter their credit card information.
Okay, that's
register
super
their
predatory.
item. And then once they enter it, they pay and they enter it, and they all have the same experience of like, wait, what did I just pay for? And then eventually they go back and look, and it's like it doesn't do anything. They just enter like Marcus lost a camera, and they just like.
I feel like if anything, it just
They
tells
just put-
a bunch of people that want a new camera like where to find it. They just like call the yellow cab company and like go on a search.
Yeah, but dude, it's so bad. But then the other one is the same thing. And they're like pretty much dissing Google's ad review team because Google has like the best ad product in the world.
Uh-huh.
It just looks like a search result.
Yeah.
So you're already searching for a thing. You're like, I want to buy a new surfboard. Enter, and it's like
Best new
the
surfboards.
first two
Yeah.
posts on Google, and they look like search results.
Yeah.
Say like surfboards, 20% off, whatever. The actual best result is not the top ad.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and the way the last time I checked, which honestly was a while ago that I paid attention to this, there was just it's the same search result, but in the corner there's a little green text, the word ad,
Yep.
and it's a 2-letter word, so it's like. You're not going to notice it. So the other thing they talked about was there's these companies, and it's really popular for airlines. And they actually tried to save people from this. They say you search Delta support, and it says like Delta support, change flights, cancel reservations, whatever. And it's like deltasupport.com. It's not Delta Airlines.
Interesting.
So people will call this number last minute and be like, hey, I need to change my flight. How much will it cost? And this company at the other end is like, it'll be $490. And you're like, you need to change your flights. You say, okay. You give them their credit card, they change your flight, and you go on. Most people never figure out that they fell for this.
Whoa.
They think they talked to Delta,
Whoa.
and they change their flight. But it turns out, so one of the reporters who did this podcast, he realized that afterwards he was like, $490, that's a lot. I wonder if I can like get some money back. So he called Delta, and they were like, you never called us. And he realized, and he looked up, they were like, by the way, this change of flight, it would have been free. It would have been a free switch.
Dang.
You called a company that called us and changed your flight for you.
And they just say that
charged
you're you or
$490.
something?
Yeah.
Wow. That's highway robbery.
So
I mean,
this fake ad thing is like a full thing.
Yeah.
I bet you could go on Reddit now and do all, like go on, say, hey, I want to advertise my game. I made a video game or something. I'm going to advertise it on the gaming subreddit. I'm going to make my ad copy say, hey guys, just found this game. It's amazing. And I'm going to put a photo of my game. And people who are browsing that subreddit are going to see this post that it's on the front page. It looks like it's the top game. It's just an ad.
dang.
It sucks.
Yeah. So I feel like there are good ads in the world in these like this native format.
Yeah.
If it's really tailored to you and it's like something that you want and like you get to it and you buy it, like great. Like it's probably something that you were going to get anyways.
Yeah.
If that wasn't there, it would have been like word of mouth probably for the same product.
Yeah.
I think Instagram is the best at this because like you'll be scrolling, you see a super rich picture the same way you saw the last picture, similar to what you were talking about with Reddit. And if it's good and you get it, then like that was a product you were going to buy.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's probably some like dissonance in the customer's mind in these cases where it's like, I hate ads, but then like you do buy some stuff from ads and you're happy you bought it.
Yeah.
I've bought good products from ads that I saw.
Same.
I just think it's a matter of like, it's more like an emotional argument than a factual argument. Because like factually ads can be helpful, but emotionally I hate when they disrupt my experience.
Totally.
And I'm always more for it when it's like a creator related thing. I don't know. I think maybe just the format is like what people need to experiment with, not get rid of ads. Ads are great. Without ads, you'd have to pay for every single product.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't have to pay to watch YouTube, and YouTube is amazing. I watch like hours of YouTube.
Yeah. And you otherwise wouldn't if you had to pay. There's
Yeah.
just no chance.
Well, I'd probably pay it at this point, but I might not have gotten into it. But I'm way more fine with a couple things. One, when like YouTubers will do brand deals, like Ethan Klein will be like, hey, thanks to Dollar Shave Club for giving me this razor. It's really good. I'll sit there and watch it because usually he'll like make a joke about the razor.
Yeah.
He'll like, you know, like you can shave anything with it. Like, so like,
No, those are really
he's
good.
funny. And I know like, because I watch this ad, he makes money and I want him to make money. So I'm good with that. But and I'm also good with the mid-rolls actually.
Yeah.
Like I don't close out of videos for mid-rolls because, you know, Cody and people will like have like a few mid-rolls now. And I watch them because it's like, this is great, dude. Like this lets you keep making good videos. Yeah. I watch the videos for free. This is a full ecosystem here where you get to make money. I get to watch videos for free. The advertiser gets to advertise. And a lot of time it's relevant to the audience.
Yeah, I think it's like a
YouTube
very
knows like,
ad.
oh, this is a male. He likes these products. They show me a good, you know, whatever ad. I don't pay that much attention. But
yeah. Can we take a quick break?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. We were talking about like Ethan Klein.
Okay, we're back. Okay, yeah, the brand deal stuff.
Yeah, like mid-roll ads and like.
Okay, yeah. So the best breakdown of ad products, I'd say like the best is like influencer, creator, whatever. Whoever's video I'm watching is like talking about a product they like. Obviously, best would be if it's just not a real ad, but even if they're getting paid by the brand, that's just the best type of ad, clearly.
Yeah, I agree.
Like usually they make the ad funny or entertaining using their own style, which is the reason I'm watching their video anyway.
Yep.
So that's helpful.
And it's a product in line with like.
And by the way, I would even say that like it's interesting to hypothetically think about like, what would it be like if Cody did an ad for Nike? If Cody made a video that was unrelated to advertising, unrelated to actually getting paid, like it wasn't really an ad, where he just made a hypothetical, like how would Cody advertise blank? That would actually be pretty entertaining. Like if that was his next upload, I'd watch it. So when I see, you know, whatever, like Cody pull out like a watch or something on a video, and be like, all right, guys, here's this watch. Like and I know it's a brand deal. I'm actually interested, like, oh, how's he going to pitch this? Because you're interested in that YouTuber specifically. Like their whole sense of humor is why you watch. So It's kind of cool to give them the constraint of that creative challenge. And I was talking to like at that thing we went to at Cody's with Matt King, who was doing like stuff for Best Buy or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like. It seems like an interesting challenge versus just like, oh, I can make anything right now. Like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't use an app that was all this content or something like that, but it's kind of cool to have like this challenge of like, how would you pitch like that coffee maker? How would you pitch this plant?
I mean, the influencers each individually have to like do that. Because like when Vine first came out and then like people started doing like promoted posts, it was pretty polarizing for their audience. And like some people like immediately like turned off, like rip them apart in the comments. Other people are like feel good that they're like supporting their like favorite creator and they're like getting paid for it. And then like I think there were like regulations and rules put in that you had to do like the hashtag ad.
You had to do hashtag ad?
Yeah, that came up eventually specifically for like Vine and I think Instagram and a couple other things.
Interesting.
You had to like say it was an ad and people would like just like skim past it and stuff. So if you can like as an influencer make a good ad and people watch it, then I think you've like figured it out. Like you've done well with that like challenge.
For sure. It's also, I imagine, like now it's normalized. Everybody knows like
totally.
Sometimes in the middle of a video someone's going to pitch you a product.
Sure.
And that's how they make money.
It's like standard in podcasts. You can see where they are.
Yeah, podcast is easy.
Yeah.
I actually like in the podcast app because you can skip forward 15 seconds. If I don't want to watch it, I'll be like, I've heard on Masters of Scale, I've heard the guy from Zoom video conferencing.
Oh, I know.
So many times, I'm just like, skip it.
But every time I'm like, oh man, that sounds like a really good, how are they going to do, they pitch it as like a story. It's like a vignette in your podcast about how they're solving remote teamwork or something.
Yeah.
How are they going to do it?
Yeah, it's really close between content and ads. But it's inarguably better than just breaking like, introducing new Sprite Zero. Like that sucks, especially on Snapchat. Like you're tapping through your friends' stories and like you're seeing like concert, football game, meal, whatever. And then it's just like they're all like clearly recorded with phones, and then all of a sudden it's like full red screen, like Coca-Cola,
like a
4K
20% video.
Yeah,
it's the most skippable
it's
ad
disruptive
format of all time.
Yeah, like before your mind even like comprehends what you're watching, like something in you is like, this is an ad, you can tap through it.
Yep.
It's terribly ineffective, I would imagine.
It has
I don't
to
know.
be, yeah. The whole like right side of the screen is just the skip this ad button at that point.
Yeah, so that stinks. Like, so this is where I'm split, because I think the Google like native ad thing is like a little bit predatory. Like there should be a little bit more of a hint.
Yeah.
But I think on something like Snapchat, it would be better if it was an organic ad that wasn't so disruptive. You know?
So you just like stay in your type of content.
You know what's a really good ad actually? Is like the Ty Lopez shit.
Dude, he's been in my feed. Why do you think that? Oh, he's been way in my feed recently.
So there's a thing in like human psychology where faces are really interesting to us.
Okay.
This is how I'd explain it. I can explain it two ways, like why I think it actually works versus why I like it.
So you're talking about his format where he just like holds the camera and he just talks for like 5
pre-roll
minutes.
ad. It's a pre-roll ad, and I've seen other people mimic it, and it's genius. So instead of the pre-roll ad looking like an ad, the pre-roll ad is just another YouTube video. Yeah. And it's him doing selfie mode. Well, if I'm about to watch a vlog of like Cody or H3H3, whatever, doing their talking to the camera, and the ad is just some other guy talking to the camera, and he starts off really interesting, I'm hooked in.
Yeah.
Like he'll just be like, yo, what do you think of this car? I know it's like a meme now.
It's like 17 sick-ass cars.
That hooks you in.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that.
And this the same like psychology of looking at a human face, especially a human expression, and you want it, like we're programmed to respond to human faces.
Yeah.
Like we know the emotion just from seeing a face. You don't have to guess what someone's feeling. This is the same thing now why every YouTube thumbnail looks the same. It's a human face doing some expression. There's color all around it to draw your attention.
Crazy color backgrounds.
The title's all caps.
Yep.
And you can't even, at first it was obnoxious, but now you can't argue with it anymore. You can't be like, oh, I wish people would stop. Because if they stop, they'll get less views. That's just it's better. It gets more clicks. It makes them more money.
Yeah. I feel like if you have a consistent amount of views, you could like quickly prove that by having one thumbnail that is and one thumbnail that isn't like that. And then you just do whichever works.
So those ads are the best. Like the same reason is just like, there was one I saw for like their company is the one that makes that, the lens thing that you put on your camera. Yeah. And I click a video, I'm about to watch a different video, and the guy from that company, I click the video, the ad, he's like, all right guys, I'm gonna take you on a little road trip. Like we're about to try out the new, camera thing. And they're like, all right, let's pack up the vans. It's like a vlog of the dudes who made the camera product going on a road trip with the camera. It's very entertaining. I watched and I don't remember I think he had like a 6-minute pre-roll, but it was skippable after 3. Yeah. But I watched like 4 minutes of it. Dude. And I was never going to buy the product actually. I wasn't interested in the product. He was just a good filmmaker. Yeah, there was one. Like, this guy should start a YouTube channel.
I watched one ad like that where it was like, it ended up being like these dudes that went on a surf trip. And I just clicked the link to their video and watched it instead. Really? It was so good. Yeah. I was like totally there to watch something else, and I ended up just going to their thing.
Dude, it's definitely giving. I've done that too, and it's definitely giving me. I don't know how this works. Maybe it's like offensive to say ADD, but it's giving me something. It's training me not to be able to focus on a single thing. Like the way every video refers to something else. Yeah. It's like, you're watching a show and it's like, link in bio, like link in description. And before you know it, you've got like a tweet thread, 4 nested YouTube videos that you want to watch in order. You've got like a link to an Amazon product.
You bought 10 things.
And like everything's running like a background process in your head of like, all right, I know like I need to watch, I'm going to order this, then I'm going to watch these 4 videos, then I'll read the tweet thread, then I'll tweet this thing that it made me think of. Oh, before I forget, I'll just tweet the thing. Okay. Now I need to go, like, you just get so out of it. Yeah. All you wanted to do was watch one video.
Whatever psychological thing you're talking about definitely exists. Like, it is like, some attention is diminishing to the point that like Instagram is the go-to social network because you can just like see the picture, you know whether or not you enjoy it, and you go to the next one. Yeah. Like that is the predominant format.
Yeah. So, let's see. The final thing I was going to say too was with the supporting like the creators and stuff, because we thought about a lot of different stuff with that. Part of it is like better ad products, and I'm kind of split on this. I've always been anti-ad. I've always been like, I don't want to build an advertising business. I want to build a business that makes money without putting ads in front of our users.
Yep.
So there's one question is like, how can these people get paid? How can everyone get paid with better ads, which is what we've been talking about? Like, are brand deals just better? Could you just like automate brand deals much better so that was the only kind of ad? Mm-hmm. Another thing is like, how can you do all this with no ads? And especially because more and more people are trying to be like streamers, YouTubers, podcasters. I wonder if people will be like, there's not everyone's going to get popular enough to make money off ads.
Right.
Ads, you have to get to like a critical mass before like Google AdSense is going to even pay your rent. Like, it's just, you have to be getting millions of views.
Yeah.
But actually, if you do the math on something like, let's just take like Patreon or something, right? If you can get like 3,000 people paying you $10 each a year, then you're making $30K a year.
That's great. It's such an amazing product.
That would be, can I get 3,000 people to pay $1 a month? That seems like pretty good. And Patreon like is pretty good at setting that up. And most of what my perception of Patreon has changed a lot, because when I first saw it, everyone was asking for donations. Mm-hmm. It was like, hey, pledge to me on Patreon because you're nice. Just like, please give me money to show your support.
Yeah, and you're just like, what?
Now I listen to the Bret Easton Ellis podcast. He's the author of American Psycho. And he used to do it on Podcast One, and then he stopped for a year. He just relaunched the podcast. It's on Patreon. And you can only listen to it on Patreon if you back him. So he's actually using it, I think, the way Patreon pitches itself, which is you get a membership platform. And it's $2 a month. So I pay $24 a year. The podcast is amazing. He's doing one every couple weeks. Mm-hmm. It's easily worth $2 a month.
For sure.
So I wonder if that's just like the better model, and then you can kind of forget all these like complicated ad products. Like, how can I find this cohesion?
Yeah.
You need like a small group of people who love it rather than the large group of people who like it.
Of course. Yeah. I guess I was thinking like, no matter what, I feel like there's always like an ad opportunity. I guess like if you even like in the Bret Easton Ellis thing, like he could just slap ads on that too and just make more money. But
he doesn't.
Yeah. It's probably much better that way. If they pay for the Patreon and you just give them the video that they want.
Yeah.
It's just such a more like wholesome, contained like video viewing experience.
Yeah. Okay. Final topic, because I think we're over an hour now, is the thing we've talked about a few times lately. So we've gotten into this theme of modern millennial lifestyle, where there's all these companies that offer you amazing like customer service and return policies, and the ethics of using the return policies in certain ways. So mostly, we've already talked about this extensively, but mostly just want to rehash it. We can in case, one, anyone listens to this, and two, they have a different take. I feel very strongly about all of the...
I'm very curious to hear the different takes.
Okay.
And defenses.
So we've gone through a few different things. Essentially, the question is whether or not it's ethical or fair or good to use a return policy of one of these companies when you have no intention of buying the product. Mm-hmm. So we talked about a few things. One was like, just moved to a new place. I need a mattress. I don't want this one. For example, I don't want a Casper, but I'm going to get it and sleep on it for 3 months while I find my other mattress. Mm-hmm. So that seems pretty wrong.
So the reason that that's possible is they kind of market it. It's like in their lines, like Casper bed, like 3 choices, like try it for 30 days or 90 days or something like that.
You're right. We should clarify. Yeah. They have a 100-night return policy for any reason.
Yeah. And they tell you that right on the ads, like right up front.
So my view is that with these return policies, you're meant to buy the product, and if you don't like it, you can return it. You're not meant to buy it with the intention of returning it later to like exploit and use it, because they don't get to reuse the mattress. Like I think they donate it.
Okay.
But
I would like to know what happens there, because that alone could change a lot of people's perception.
Someone told me they don't actually donate it.
They reuse them. Can they like wash
No,
them or something?
they can't reuse them legally.
I see.
So they say, oh, if you return it, they don't want to look wasteful, right? They say we're going to donate it, which I thought was true, and it might actually be true. But someone told me last week they can't donate it because of rules that homeless shelters and everything has around like bed bugs.
Yeah,
you can't donate a used mattress.
Yeah.
Like used mattresses are pretty much a no-go unless someone actually buys it like person to person on Craigslist.
Right.
Okay, but then with these return policies, let's just go through all the different scenarios because we've got a few similar things. Marcus had a genius idea of what if you bought 2 mattresses? Now all of these mattress companies have this return policy, 100 nights. So what if you bought 2 and you slept on them both and you return the one you don't want?
Let's be upfront. This was my plan. I was going to like.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to call you out.
I was going to. We just moved to New York. I needed a mattress ASAP. Casper says they can get it to you in like 0 to 3 days, which is amazing.
Yeah, they can do same day.
And up until recently, there were no Casper storefronts. So I was like, okay, I need a bed. These are pretty expensive. There's like 3 offerings.
Expensive.
And they all offer this like crazy like return policy. I can't go to the store and try them. Might as well just like order them, hop on them, figure out which one I want, and send it back. And John was like, John came in with like the wagging finger, and it was like,
It's red flags for me.
You should not do that. And I was like, I was pretty like set in my opinion, but I think I agree with you now.
Yeah.
The thing that helps is that Casper does have a storefront, so like you can go try it and get the one. If you actually don't like it, return it.
Yeah. So like the argument was like, yeah, you buy 2 mattresses, you sleep on them both, you end up keeping one, and you return the one that you liked less. But the shitty thing about that is you're guaranteeing that you're going to burn $1,000 of one of these companies' money. And some people would say, oh, that's fine. Like the rules allow it. But I think it doesn't matter if the rules allow it. I would just say it's wrong. Like you shouldn't. I would say it's selfish to decide I'm going to burn someone else's resources to optimize my experience. I think my solution to this was buy one, sleep on it. If you don't like it, return it and buy the other one. If you're happy with the one you bought, there's no need to buy the other one. So that's not what I think.
Sure.
So
the number of people that I think of it the way I did or do, I don't know, still kind of do, think about it that way, is I would say most people.
Yeah.
Especially when there is no storefront to try these things. Like at some point you have to have both in your place. So you can try the other one, figure out you don't like it, and send one of the 2 back.
Yeah.
And it's like, so they're like...
I think if you want to buy both and try both, then you have to resell one on Craigslist.
Oh, okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Especially if you like...
Well, because then someone else opts into buying the used mat. I don't know.
I feel like that's
the whole thing is like I think we both, did you finish Skin in the Game?
No.
Like you got pretty far though.
I'm like halfway through.
Okay.
Like that.
But get
the concept.
You might as well. You get the concept.
Yeah.
The Skin in the Game book is one general theme in it is that it's unfair and it's dishonorable to shift risk of your own decisions onto other people. So like, hey, can I borrow $20 from my friend? I'm gonna like buy a lottery ticket with it. If I win, I'll pay them back. But if I don't, I'll bail on it. It's just totally unfair. Mm-hmm. And I think that applies to the mattress thing, where if you agree that you're gonna do the work of like reselling it, it's different. So we have like a friend also who he wanted to buy the Boosted Mini, the new Boosted board.
Which looks tight.
You've seen like Casey Neistat reviewed it, Marcus Brownlee reviewed it. Looks awesome. It had 7 weeks shipping or 8 weeks shipping. So he bought a different electric skateboard in the meantime that has an amazing return policy. It's like 3 months, return it for any reason. So he's just riding that skateboard around New York for 2 months. And when his Boosted board gets here, he's absolutely 100% planning to just put it in the box, ship it back and return it.
This one
it's like a 2-month free rental.
This one feels wrong when you
This one's clearly wrong, right? Like, I'm going to try to convince him not to do it.
It's a true test.
But it's super annoying.
I feel like if you're encountering somebody who's like, this is the way the world is, or like they allow it, that's a very tough argument. Like, it's just like you're not even coming at it from the same angle. It's just a miss.
I'm not going to name our culprit, but he might come on a future episode of the podcast. I'd love to give him the chance to defend himself.
Do the reveal.
Same person, by the way. And then this is the next example of the ethics of like the modern return policies. Is this guy? We went to an ice cream store. He tasted a few flavors. He ordered an ice cream. I don't know what he got. 2 scoops of vanilla in a cone. Orders it, pays. He's got his ice cream. He's done. Now it's my turn, and I asked to taste one flavor. And he comes back over with his ice cream and goes, "Oh yeah, can I taste it too?"
It's just plain gluttonous.
And I was just like, dude, you can't do that. Like and at the time it felt different. I was like, you can't taste ice cream after you already bought yours.
This is this thing I've never heard of. I've never known somebody that gets.
I've never known someone that did this either.
The one they wanted and then continues to like.
Yeah. But I realize it's the same principle. It's the same principle as you shouldn't waste someone else's resources if there's 0% chance that you're going to buy the product. So it's the same thing. Like you shouldn't get the Casper bed if you're definitely going to return it. You shouldn't get the electric skateboard if you're definitely going to return it. You shouldn't taste the ice cream if you're definitely not going to buy ice cream.
Most certainly.
And
probably won't.
I know some people on Abbot Kinney who would go to Salt and Straw.
Yeah.
And they would tag along with their friends and they'd try like 4 flavors. And they weren't planning on buying ice cream either.
Really?
So
Okay.
I think that's wrong, but it's even is a little less wrong because
amazing. You can
one
turn
of
down
those
Salt and
flavors
Straw.
might convince you.
Yeah.
But in his case, he had bought the ice cream already. There's no way. He's not going to taste it and then order a second ice cream.
I've legitimately never heard of it. I guess it's not different. It's not that different if he had just like also gotten that one and then gotten his ice cream, but it's just so strange to get your ice cream and then go back.
And then his argument was, "Oh, let's ask the ice cream people." So we said, "Is this annoying? Like, he was like, "It's good customer service. They're serving me the taste, so it's fine." And I was like, "No." And the ice cream crew was pretty split. One of the guys was like, "It's fine, it's whatever." And then the girl who was working there was like, "This is pretty annoying. Like, you shouldn't do
Dude, it's
this."
super bold to like shift the like result of the argument onto those 2 people. That is like.
Next examples. What else can you think of? I know one was boarding with this is different now, but boarding with the correct group on planes.
I didn't even know this was possible.
Same guy. He just said. So they don't really check your boarding group. Like sometimes,
I thought they did.
if a flight attendant is so inspired to follow the rules, they will enforce it. But if you're like boarding group 4, you can just go with group 1. However bold you're feeling.
Never knew
and
that.
And they both like the people I was with both said they do that. I brought this up. I was like,
dude,
people just skip the line or they're like pushing. They go with the wrong group and they're like, "Oh yeah, I always go with group 1. Doesn't matter. I'm group 1. Group 1 for life."
That's crazy. I'm always group fucking 9,000 when I fly United or something.
It's veterans, families, platinum, diamond, emerald, sapphire, blueberry, strawberry, gold, silver,
A, B,
bronze.
C.
Group 1, 2, 3, 4. Exit row, dirt, then me.
Then there's a quick.
You and me together.
There's a quick barter system in between then where you can pay more if you want. And
Yeah,
then
it's
they
like
get
if
to
you'd
you.
like to spend $100 not to be behind 9 more groups.
What was funny on Alaska version, whatever it is now, is they do like A, B, C, and then they switch over to 1, 2, 3 because if you book through, so like you think for a second that you're getting
Dude,
on
you
like
get so
second or
screwed.
third, and then you're still like.
So screwed. Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. That's crazy. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like even try it. I don't think I would be like worried of being like ridiculed in front of like the.
So I take a different approach. I try to improve my own situation as well, but I try to do it out of pity. I try to like play on their compassion. I'm 6'7". I go up to the flight attendant desk because exit row costs like $100 extra now, and it didn't used to. And I really need the exit row.
I didn't know that.
If I sit straight on a plane seat, from my like back, from my femur to my knee, it's longer than the distance between the seats. So my knees touch the seat, so I have to sit like kind of sideways, like hunched over. And so I go up to the desk before my flight almost always, and I say, "Hey, I know, you don't have to do this. I know you guys are really busy, but look how tall I am. It's super uncomfortable. If the exit row is still free, I'd love to get switched over."
Does that work?
And usually they'll go, "Oh, let me check on that." And they're like, "Okay, we can do it.
Nice.
Like, we're supposed to charge," and they'll give it to me.
It's $100 now.
It's like $75.
How?
It depends on how long the flight is.
That's crazy.
Because they consider it they moved it, it's a comfort plus.
I think that makes sense, but you're also like performing a duty. I thought that was like the consolation. Like
Right,
you're
but
going
not
to
anymore
work for.
because they realize enough people will pay to perform that duty.
Interesting. It's like, enjoy your flight, but just in the event that we go into the ocean,
So
the whole crew.
You want to know another hack? This is a secret hack, so I don't know if I should say this on the podcast, but here's the hack.
Okay.
It also plays on the compassion angle, which is it's not guaranteed to work. So it's not going to guarantee to get you on the flight earlier. Well, it won't get you on the flight earlier. It's not guaranteed to get your seat moved. But before the flight starts, you go to like Hudson News or whatever the store is, and you buy like a big bag of candy, big bag of M&Ms or something.
Nice.
Like a king party pack.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it the party pack. When you get on the plane, there's a flight attendant there who's greeting people, and you say, "Hey, I just want to say like thanks for helping out today. I got this for you and the crew. Hope you guys have a great flight." And you give them the candy as a gift. You say, "Hey, it's for all you guys. Like I really appreciate you guys," and they love it. It's so nice because you did a nice thing. But there's the hidden selfish motive here, which is, for the rest of the flight, you will be treated like a king. Like
that works too?
Not only that flight attendant, but every other flight attendant. I mean, it's hit or miss. Sometimes they don't give a shit.
Sure.
But it's the occasional outcome is they'll bring you a drink for free.
Nice.
If there's a seat upgrade, they'll be like, "Hey, like come take this better seat." They'll like for the measly cost of like $3 or $4, instead of paying $200 for a seat upgrade, you buy a bag of candy, you give it to people to be nice to them. And here's what I'll say. If it doesn't work, worst case, you did a nice thing. That's actually a good thing.
Yeah, like $3 or whatever.
So that
they can take your food? I didn't know that. Because like pilots, I don't think can take, they have to eat their like one meal or whatever that the airline gives them, and they have to have opposite meals. They can't have the same one just in case like,
oh really?
Like one is like, not poison, but there's like food poisoning that
Interesting.
They both aren't like out of the cockpit at the same time.
Yeah, the sealed bag of M&Ms, I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they just think it's
throw it away.
But either way, like they think you're trying to be nice to them. So I think there's the selfish selflessness is a better approach than trying to just get on with
just
group one.
Storm in. Yeah, that one's pretty insane.
Yeah. Is there any other one of these things?
I'm trying to think.
Oh, you know the final one that's my big pet peeve is reserving tables.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I see if I've heard you gone on about
All right, we'll end on this one. So there's two things here. First of all, there's a site called Wait But Why. It's Tim Burton. He has a blog.
Yes, it's really
and he sent out an email. He wrote a comic last week. He just wrote it to tell this story, but he said he had this crazy experience in a coffee shop where he went into this coffee shop. It was a really busy one. They have good Wi-Fi. And there's only like 8 tables, and he wanted to do some writing. And he went up, there's only one table free. And he went up, there were 2 people at the table next to it, and their bags were on the table. And he said, "Hey, is anybody sitting here?" And they said, "Oh yeah, we have friends coming." So he waited like 10 minutes, and another table freed up, and he went and sat there. And he started working. Half an hour goes by, someone else comes in. "Hey, is anybody sitting here?" Those same 2 people, "Oh no, we have friends coming." They leave. An hour goes by. More people throughout coming in, asking these people, "Hey, is anybody sitting here?" "Oh yeah, we have friends coming. We have friends coming." Eventually, like 2.5 hours go by.
That's crazy.
And their bags are still on the table. They've denied like 50 people this table because they have friends coming. And so he got up and he was like, "Hey, by the way, what you're doing is really shitty. Like you clearly don't have friends coming. There's only like 8 tables in this place. You should let other people sit down."
So did they actually have friends coming, or were they just leaving their bags?
As he was saying that, their friends come in. And they're like, "Oh, sorry, we're super late," like whatever. But they were more than 2 hours late, according to the comic.
That's bad.
So I still think it's bad, but he was like, "Oh, I felt like such an asshole."
No, I don't think you should feel like an asshole. Well, I don't know if I would ever like confront somebody like that, but yeah.
I would confront somebody. This has happened to me like a lot of times at like Sweet Green or Kava or whatever.
Those are the worst places for it.
Yeah, there's only a few tables, and
the restaurant is optimized for like the line.
Yeah, it's optimized for the line, and the line takes like 15 to 20 minutes. And so some people will come in and they'll be like, "Oh, there's a table." They'll throw their shit on it. They'll get in line. And then I'm sitting here watching this unfold. Person after person, they check out, they have their food, they look around, no tables. No tables, no tables. Nobody can sit down.
Yeah.
There's a table, they could have sat down, finished their meal, and left. And the people whose bags are there could have then got their food and sat down also. But because the people in the back of the line block the tables, it just ruins everything.
They should just like assign you a table at the register. They just know which ones are available. And if you don't have a ticket, you can't sit there.
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would actually work.
I don't know.
Also, my approach recently I've thought about is you just move their stuff.
You just steal it.
So it's like
you just list 2 items on yellowtaxi.com or whatever.
I don't know if I have. So I have the guts to do this. I just don't know if it's actually being mean or not. But I think you could just move someone's bag and sit at the table. And when they come, they say, "Oh, my bag." What are they going to say? "My bag was there." And you say, "Oh, I didn't know you could reserve tables at this restaurant."
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like there's got to be like edge cases where this like matters. Like maybe somebody has like a disability or something. So like it's like pretty important that they like have like a specific table at the restaurant.
For sure.
Something like that. But I'd say the majority of the cases where this happen, it's not that. It's just like they're throwing their shit down.
The majority it's not. I had the same thing happen at Kava. I was there like 2-3 weeks ago. A group of guys came in. They've gotten like this big thing where they're like asking other people to move tables. They're like, "Oh, can you guys move down so we can have this table? Because like our bikes are outside, we need this table." And like they got all these people to move, and then they put their bags on and they got in line. It was like, guys,
that's pretty bad.
Those people would have been moved by the time you got your food.
That's the thing. Those restaurants all work that if like by the time you get in the line and like get to the end, there's like tables should be ready. Like somebody else sat down and ate the whole time and like they're out.
It's really frustrating. All right. Okay, that's it.
That's part 1 of moral ethics codes in big cities.
I call it, what is it? It's I guess it's cities. It's like the ethical code. It's like the Hammurabi's code is like an eye for an eye. Like he wrote all the rules of like, if you build a house and it collapses and kills someone's daughter, then like he gets to kill your daughter. Or like there's like every possible example of things that could happen in society. Like it's an eye for an eye. Like if someone blinds you in one eye, you get to blind their eye. Right. If someone steals your goat, you get to take one of their goats. Like everything. So this is this. Like
we'll keep reporting back on more situations.
We'll add more. Nice. All right. Wrap it up. What do we do for wrap it up? That's it. If you listen to it, thanks for listening.
Hopefully we have new mics by the time we do the next one.
Yeah, we'll get microphones.
And a studio or something, who knows.
All right. Sweet.
Thanks.
Peace.